Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. I saw this one, or at least the beginning of this. Did I? Yeah, I liked it. Look at this, the porcupine. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, so this, obviously the thumbnail was brutal. But, so the porcupine's quills are like facing backwards. And so I'm thinking, you know, okay, I think I understand what happened. Because I feel like it would be fine if it ate the porcupine, even with all the quills. Because it's eating it head first with the quills frayed backwards. And so they're just kind of slide in. And so what I'm thinking, before I found out the real answer of how that thumbnail, that brutal... Is that a bear having with a pig? Is that, you know, I know that snakes, you know, in pythons, whatever, they when they're, you know, they're vulnerable when they're eating and when they've just eaten, right? And so they have this thing where they regurgitate their food if they're under threat. And so I'm thinking, okay, that's where it could be troublesome, because now it's in you, the porcupine is inside of you, and to regurgitate it, well, now all of the pins are going this way out of you, and that could pierce. But it ended up being like it ate the porcupine, and then oh, poor doggy, I don't even want to show that. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so here's a snake. Like, so it ate the porcupine, and then it
dead. It was then that the people found a 30-pound porcupine inside. Apparently, the python fell from the rocky ledge, and the impact made the quills pierce the digestive tract.
Damn. So it fell off, landed, that jolted the into it. But yeah, let's go to the... I haven't seen this one. How do animals have fun? Well, if you're an orca, then you're a piece of crap. Orcas, I don't like orcas. I'm sorry, I don't like them. Orcas, humans. It seems like orcas and humans are the only two animals who sometimes like take pleasure in like, never mind, let's go. If you're orca, you like, you get a seal and like slap it around and flip it in the air, or go to a mother blue whale, right? You guys are gonna be like, oh, how can you hate orcas? They're not endangered. And like they'll go to like a blue whale or like a gray whale, humpback whale, who's with her calf, who she's been pregnant for like 2 years and only has one baby and can only have one every few years. And then killer whales come up, ready? And don't worry, I get your point, you know, they have to eat, right? Well, they can't kill the mother, she's too big, you know, but they can drown and kill the baby, which they do, and then they just eat the tongue. They just eat the tongue. So this mother who's been... I always kind of, you know, what... I don't like killer whales, alright? Deal with it. Free Willy, I don't care.
If you hear the words leopard seals and imagine some kind of small, fluffy seal looking at you with huge, cartoonish big...
I know what a leopard seal is, alright? They are monsters.
Eyes.
It's like a swimming bear.
Again. These are actually huge, aggressive predators weighing up to 1,300 pounds, which only a killer whale can handle. Leopard seals have repeatedly attacked...
I mean, a great white shark could definitely take a leopard seal, right?
...explorers and fishermen, sometimes killing them. In short, it's better not to mess with them. Considering all this, the story told by a photographer, Paul Nicklin, seems incredible. The photographer claimed he wanted to...
I know what... Isn't this when... I'm pausing. It must be so annoying. Is this when, like, the seal sees him as, like, a helpless animal and brings him dead penguins?
...to study these wild predators despite the danger they pose, and the female leopard seal he found suddenly began to feed him a penguin.
I saw this.
Yeah, I'm serious.
It's
At
like
first,
this
the female
poor soul.
played with the penguin, then let it swim very close to Paul so that he would catch it. This, of course, didn't...
She's like, oh, this poor, helpless animal. Look at him. He can't do anything. I gotta help him out. Here you go, buddy. You kill it. You kill it. Oh, you can't? I'll kill it.
work. Then the predator gave the penguin a slight
Holy.
thrashing to make it easier to catch the animal, but the photographer still wouldn't eat it. Weird, right? Then the leopard seal started circling around, holding the penguin in her mouth, playing with food, and then tossed it at the photographer. Didn't help either. Well, what can you do when a human is that clueless about what to do with prey? Give the photographer a dead penguin and then look at him reproachfully. I can feel her saying, "What else do you expect me to do?"
At least give it like a fake nibble or something, you know? At least like give it like a fake thrashing around so you seem grateful.
Chew it for you? Why did the female want to feed a stupid human who can't get himself a penguin? Maybe she assumed the role of mother only in the manner of leopard seals? After all, they do play with their prey, and sometimes they do it the rough way, just like walruses. You may be surprised to find that walruses are actually playful creatures. Well, at least I was. Because when you see a creature weighing 1.5 to 2 tons, you don't really expect it to have a sense of humor. Well, walruses have a really specific one.
Question?
See for yourself.
Are walruses bigger than elephant seals?
Sometimes walruses sneak up on live birds floating on the water surface and scare them away. In other cases, they dive down below the birds and suddenly jump out of the water, attempting to slash an unsuspecting bird with its tusks. Doesn't matter what kind of bird it is, the important thing is that it's a waterfowl. Important note, walruses don't try to kill their toy on purpose. For example, only 1 out of 74 games on record resulted in a bird's death. But at the same time, it's not necessary for walruses to play with someone else.
I feel like playing, obviously, like probably many animals, whether it's a very successful animal or not, when you're younger probably play, but if you like show signs of like fun and playing as a more adolescent or adult species, I feel like that's like evolution's way of saying like, all right, stamp of approval. Like you're good enough at surviving, at like mating and eating, that like you can play, and you want to be like, all right, I'm bored. It's almost like boredom is evolution's way of saying like you're a successful animal. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Alive. Some walruses use bird carcasses dropped into the water by predatory birds or washed away by the tide. The rules of the game are certainly very interesting. The walruses drag the remains of a poor bird underwater, watch them float up, then drag them underwater again, and it goes on. They can also
I just picture one of them saying, all right, that's 2 points to me. All right, I won that round. Next.
Fight over a bird's carcass, trying to snatch it from each other like some kind of ball. Well, they must be really having fun? Like the Indian elephant, Maduri, which...
Don't tell me it does a hammer throw with an iguana, please, or a chameleon.
Like all elephants, is probably a very smart creature, smart enough to catch a small monitor lizard, hold it by the tail, and swing the poor animal around. This is fun.
Does it throw it?
Maduri is actually considered an expert in catching lizards and loves monitor lizards most of all. But you don't expect one animal to catch another and carry it for several days, throwing...
Okay, I feel like some of you might be being like, okay, you don't like orcas for like killing a baby whale and just eating the tongue, but you're fine with an elephant flinging around a monitor lizard. It's kind of my idea that I imagine that grief, I'm no scientist, it's just on my brain, all right, that I think that how much an animal grieves is proportionate, like over over like a dead child, is proportionate to how much that animal needs to take care of, that has to invest in that child before they can make another one. And so like if a spider or a crab has like 10,000 babies and shakes them off, and then one of them gets killed, I really don't think that there's any grief response in the crab, because their mode of reproduction is more quantity over quality, whereas an animal like an elephant, or like people who can get very sad when they lose a child or something like that, like I feel like it's relative to gestation, how much they can give birth in a lifetime, and how much care they have to give into a calf, would definitely result in more pain for the mother because they're evolutionary, like they've evolved, you know, these things about pain, about losing a child have evolved because if you lose a child, then, you know, that's your genes not being passed on. And I think the quantity approach, so just the fact that the gray whale is on such the quality approach rather than the quantity, I would imagine that they suffer an enormous amount of grief and like they can't just make another one right there, or they can't just like raise the other 10,000 after that left. And so I just see the act of killing an animal's baby that has a large gestation period and a lot to do with the upbringing of the child is lost. And then just to eat the tongue, it just rubs me the wrong way. All right.
It, dropping it, then picking it up and tossing it again. At the very beginning, the monitor lizard was even alive, but its fate is unknown. I doubt it had a good time.
I think it's dead.
The games of corvids are more to my liking. These aren't birds, but devious little creatures. Just imagine you're, well, say a dog who's quietly minding your dog business somewhere in the park when suddenly somebody bites your tail. You, of course, are outraged by this behavior, turn around, and the bird simply flies away. They can do it several times. Corvids are simply the supreme trolls of the animal kingdom. Of course, scientists simply had to figure out why birds do this, and they did. They believe this is an